Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and as you can see by the title, this is the second episode of For Life, the review. So I did end up watching it the next day, like I told y'all I probably would do, but I'd been at work. Y'all, they had me somewhere doing 100% inspections. Like, I'm the type of person, like, I am very, like, okay, on top of stuff to the point of where they live for me. Well, at least at my last job. They know now because some stuff has been going on where some stuff has gotten by and out. But I do not play when it comes to stuff like that. You ain't gonna put me in a spot and then say, oh, well, who was there, and you've realized it was me. You ain't finna say it was me that made mistakes like that. I mean, it's stuff that people should be able to catch if they're actually doing their job. Y'all, my whole shift, eyes toe down. And I mean, I don't get sleepy doing it. That's the thing. Most people, they get sleepy, fall asleep, and all that other stuff. I don't. I'm just so nervous about something happening and coming up and it going through that I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to get sleepy. So anyway, y'all, I didn't want to get on camera looking crazy and whatever. I just really felt like I was gonna look crazy. But then on top of that, y'all, of course they would put me in a crazy spot. I should have known that something crazy was gonna happen after that. So we were supposed to get snow. It was supposed to have wintry mix or snow. They were calling for 2 to 6 inches in various places throughout this the area, not necessarily in my area. It was supposed to be like 1 to 3. We didn't get one. I think we got a light dust, and I kept waking up because my sleep patterns are really off. I kept waking up and I would look out and I'm like, people seem to still be speeding by just fine, and the tree has light dusting on it, and when I woke up, it didn't even look as though anything happened. And I'm like, yep, they done let the school out early. They done did the most. Everybody was at work except the people who just didn't want to come to work. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I digress, y'all. So this episode started out with Aaron, who is the main character, who has been falsely accused and has been imprisoned. So, you know, he's talking to the warden, and she's become very interested in his case. She has seen some video footage of him and, you know, all the different things that he's been doing at the prison, even down to his last visit with his daughter, her actual, you know, official visit, where he was putting his hand on her stomach because this is when he's finding out that she's actually pregnant. So she is like now looking like, oh, well, no wonder he's changing his tune. No wonder he's out for blood, because as we already discussed the last time, he has been trying to, you know, well, I don't remember if I said that or not, but one of the things that he's been trying to do is to get access to his own records. They won't even let him have access to his own records. And I'm like, well, that's what you mean? Like, y'all must not have a lot. Like, I feel like they don't have a lot to the point of where they want to hide stuff. And he would probably be able to say, okay, well, where is this? Where is that? Where is this? Where is that? If y'all say y'all got all this evidence to prove that I belong in here, which they don't. So yeah, y'all, they meeting up and, you know, they're talking. And this is when she was like, well, that's not what we agreed to. You know, we said that once the election was won, you would, you know, within these next 4 months, you would just sit down somewhere. And he was like, man, I got too much going on in my life. And, you know, he didn't specify that the daughter was pregnant. He was about to be a grandfather and all this other stuff. None of that stuff was discussed. But like I said, she went over video footage and was trying to understand what changed. And then it's like, she was like, okay, light bulb, that's what it has to be. So, you know, he just wants to be able to find evidence that can say, y'all have been wrongfully accusing me all this time for things that I haven't done. So y'all need to release me. Like, he's eventually, basically, if you haven't guessed it by now, what he's doing is he's gone through this process to become a lawyer, and he's working these cases, but all of them, especially him trying these cases and winning them, as he's done for the first one, is to lead up to him actually getting his own self off. And I don't mean that in some nasty way. I didn't even realize that it was going to come off like that until I said it. But you know what I'm saying? For him to be able to have himself be out of their system, because he's there and he didn't even do nothing, y'all. So I was like, Lord, this is a lot. So his daughter has been having a lot of morning sickness, and mainly in the afternoon. And she's to the point where she's like, I don't even know why they call it morning sickness, when for me it happens a lot in the afternoon. And I was like, oh. And you know, it's just to the point where she can't keep anything down. She doesn't want to eat, but her mama has to remind her, you know, you have a life growing inside of you, so this is something that you are going to have to do. You know, just, you know, eat a little bit of this for me. Like, do what you got to do for the baby. Do what you got to do, because you're going to have to keep your body where it needs to be, because the baby, you know how it go. The baby is eating because the mama is providing that life source. Come on now. So I was like, Lord, okay. So it's gotten to the point where she's already told her daddy that the guy who she's with and is pregnant by wants to come and meet up with him and all this other stuff. And she's talking to her mama about it, and apparently he never told his folks about, you know, the real reason why her daddy isn't around, and she kind of went along with it even though she didn't want to. And, you know, eventually he's gonna have to let them know, like, my daddy's in prison and he ain't gonna be around. And I'm like, Lord, it's just too much. And I understand wanting to make a good first impression, especially now that you're pregnant. I understand that, but no. So, y'all, meanwhile at the prison, he has to represent someone who has an affiliation, connection, and all that to a little gang of people in there who have swastikas on their faces and different parts of their bodies. You know, of course, Aaron's black. And that man's organization forged something for him. So now he owes them. And the leader of that gang, as I want to call it, he has summoned him and like, look, what I need you to do is I want you to get somebody who, you know, goes by the name of Joey. I want you to get him out of solitary confinement and back into general population. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. He is seeing video footage of this person provoking a guard. He done pushed the guard. He rolled up on the guard, and all of a sudden, all you see is all this, you know, hoopla. Nobody knows what's really going on, and he doesn't have any prior record before this, so everybody's confused. Y'all, tell me why, after it is all said and done, after the dude finally, like, kind of, you know, information comes out. First of all, the guy had a relationship with another guy in there who was like of Asian persuasion or whatever it was. I forgot what he was. So first of all, he white. This man is like Japanese or something. You already know that don't mix. Even if this guy is saying, oh, well, I'm not affiliated with them, I just kind of had to play along to get along. And he does not even believe in all of that white power and all that mess that those people with the swastikas and stuff have on their faces and things. He just set up and he has it like on his face, if I'm not mistaken. But we learned that the reason why he kind of got excommunicated and all this other stuff and not in the greatest of graces with the leader of this terrible gang of people is because word was going to get out about his situation, which was he had a boyfriend. He really loved him. They loved each other. They'd been intimate. And Aaron had to do a lot of digging. And since the black community in there saw him helping these racist white people to do cases, because they rolled up on him. They were like, how dare you? You need to be helping your own. You said you was going to help your own. You ain't even helping your own. You helping them. And they don't even like you. How dare you? But they don't understand that a whole lot is going on behind the scenes as to why he's doing this. So some of the people who he has been able to kind of get through to, he'll roll up on them and be like, man, I need your help. I need to know why he acting like this. Something going on. And then he'll kind of act like, they both will kind of act like they picking a fight with each other. Like, man, go ahead with all that. I ain't got time to talk to you about none of that. Leave me alone, whatever. And I mean, the various people that he was able to get help from, that's how the scenario would go. So as he's getting information, one of the people comes up to him and they're like, you need to go and, you know, get his medical records. So he tricked old boy into signing a release so that he can get the medical records. Y'all, he done signed a release and they opened up the medical records. It said this man had like, I think syphilis or something. So I was like, okay, what is going on? So the other boy, the Japanese guy, he didn't want to talk. And Aaron is trying to understand why. And then he was like, so the reason why you didn't want to really say nothing about all this is because y'all have been intimate, y'all have been in a relationship and all this other stuff. Why didn't you tell me this before? Oh, Lord. I was just so tired. It was just so much going on. So they end up having, he keeps trying to talk to his client, Joey. And then he brings this information forward. And he was like, how do you know that? Whatever. And he basically told him that, I was able to get you, what you signed was a consent form. And so he trying to get mad. And he was like, yeah, forget all that. I said what I said. I'm trying to get you out of here because I owe a solid to your old boss or, your whatever he is to you. And that's when we find out that old boy wanted him out so that they could basically do him. And you know what doing mean? Like kill him, because they found out about his sexual preference, especially with somebody who is, completely not at all what they stand for. It's already bad enough that you doing that. You over here with somebody who is of a completely different persuasion that we don't fool with. So as soon as he gets released in general population, they gonna kill him. So they end up going to court. All that stuff gets sorted out. So before he's able to even do what he's doing in court, one of the days he went to court, his daughter was there. So they got there a little early, thank goodness. And he ends up kind of basically begging the bailiff to let him spend a few minutes with his daughter, because he was like, you can't do that. It ain't, visiting time. It ain't the visiting day. So he's like, man, that's my daughter, man. And I mean, the judge ain't here yet. So he ended up spending a few minutes with her, asked her how she was doing and what was she doing there. And so she was like, well, because I'm pregnant, I said that I wasn't feeling that well. And it was like later on in the day. So they were inclined to believe her because she's pregnant. So that's how she was able to kind of, pull the wool over their eyes as far as that was concerned. So I think that the hearing that she was at was when he was trying to get his own records. So this was a defining moment for the warden, because she was there and they were trying to get all this information together. And his reaction, it's like every time he was about to go there, he had to remember, wait a minute, I got to calm down for my child. Wait a minute, I got to calm down for my grandbaby. Wait a minute, if I do anything that they consider to be a misstep, my freedom is definitely all the way gone. I'm not, no matter what I've done so far, it's not going to matter, because they already told him, literally, you might as well say this would be his third strike. This is what they're basically telling him. So he's like, man, I got to really tread lightly when it comes to this. So they're denying him being able to get his records still. Always coming up with some foolishness. And I mean, he was reading. He did read. He read them and was like, y'all need to not do all this stuff. Y'all know y'all wrong. So the warden went through his files and all this other stuff. And like I said earlier, and she saw all the stuff he'd been through. Everybody, even the prosecutor on the other side of the defense, he turned around when he was denied all this stuff and he was going to be sent on off where he was going. The daughter was sitting there holding her stomach, like sobbing. Like everybody was like looking like, wait a minute. And it seemed like he had like a glimmer of sorrow in his. I was like, oh, you trying to act like you feel sorry for him? Really? Oh, okay. You do know that this is a regular occurrence in the Black community. And I ain't trying to say everybody who out here in jail and all this other stuff, they deserve to be out. There are certain people who should remain nameless, who they stay every time they go to jail. They say free this person and do that for this person, and they are trash, and they have done these things they've done to end up in jail. So I don't never condone that free this person and all that crap, because 99% of the time, the people to my free Pookie and all these other people, they was trash, and they was the ones out here doing these things and terrorizing the neighborhood and the people and killing folks and slanging heavy drugs and putting it into the community. Don't nobody want to hear. I don't want to hear that. I ain't never been here for that. And every time I see people do that, and I'm talking about it's people old enough to be my mama and grandmama be out here doing that, I be rolling my eyes like, why? Why? But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. These people irking my soul. So I can't. So anyway, the warden is gay, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of the stuff that they found out, because this was supposed to be a situation that they didn't know about, because he was gonna go to like Manhattan to get the records, try to get it or whatever. So no matter what this man does, no matter how he try to go around it, they always find out his every move. So her and her wife are at the house talking, and so she was like, yeah, I heard about what your boy did, whatever, and all this other stuff. Like, it's like, in a way, it seemed like she's here for it, but then she's not. So y'all, I just be like, Lord, it's just too much is going on this show. So yeah. But they've dismissed it for now, and I'm pretty sure he's going to keep trying to get it appealed over and over again, because he ain't trying to be in there for the rest of his life, y'all. So they end up having the court appearance for the guy Joey and all that stuff. So he ended up being able to get the ex-lover to come in there and testify, and Joey to testify, and all this other stuff. Actually said with their records, you know, both of their records showed they both had syphilis, and like a week prior or something, they'd had sex again, all this other stuff that happened. And they had to basically request that if he gets moved into the general population, they would have to be moved like somewhere else, like all together, because they are going to kill him. So they were able to arrange all this stuff. He kept up his end of the bargain. Old boy was like, look, I've done what I was supposed to do. Like, don't try to come at me. He was like, yeah, but he was like, really wasn't nothing he could say. And like, his goons tried to roll up, and he was like, man, go on with that. I was like, Lord, please don't do it. Don't do it. But he did. He literally he held up his part of the bargain. He really did. But he just didn't know all the ins and outs of it until old boy opened up. And his life was going to be on the line. Had he been released out there and nothing else was said, he would have got killed that first day. He probably would have got killed that first day that they let him out into general population. So they moved him somewhere secure where they wouldn't be able to mess with him no more. So that's how that episode went. That was a pretty good episode too. And before I'm done, the last thing that did happen was her boyfriend came up there to see him. So he went up there to see him. He ended up telling him some information he didn't know about, which was, yeah, you know, your daughter wanted to go to a certain school, but she doesn't want to go anymore because she wants to stay here to be close to you, because she think that you're going to get out and all this other stuff. He done went off on the dad and was like, y'all need to let her go and let her live her life. And it was her decision to do all these things. And oh, Lord, I was like, Lord, he done went off. But I mean, you would think that the guy was timid, and he was, but at the same time, you can tell he really cares about Aaron's daughter. So I think his name is Ronnie. Ronnie set it off. Ronnie had actually gotten the hidden cell phone number that Aaron has. And so he texted him and was like, you know, she gave me your number, call me when you get a chance. So he ended up calling him immediately. He was like, hey, what's up, what's going on? So he ended up going off on the phone, and he was like, you know, she didn't feel well. I'm here at the house with her now or whatever, and she's upstairs resting. So then he eventually starts like kind of like setting it off. And then her mama came in, and she was kind of looking, and it's like, at first he looked like he wanted to kind of seize up and not say anything else, because you could kind of tell that that's who he had to be talking to. And he just kept on talking. I was like, okay then. You better set it off. Okay. So, you know, he let it be known, like, look, this whole situation with her, like, apparently what happened is that she went up there, of course. Like, the mama already said that it takes a while to get up there. He said it's a round trip of 5 hours. He said that she was so shaken up after everything happened at the courthouse that he said it took him an hour and a half to get up to her, because she was so shaken up she couldn't move. She was still sitting there. So he had to come get her. He said, what we not finna do is that. She ain't coming up there to see you no more. She ain't got no business doing all this, but she pregnant like that anyway. It ain't happening no more, and whatever. I was like, oh, you done went off. I'm here for it. As far as that is concerned, because it really was for her well-being, because her body was tired. Like, that's too many emotions going on. So don't nobody need to see that. Don't nobody need to be a party to that. So I understand his you know, anger, frustration, and concern. And, you know, it seemed like her father acted, he acted like he was, you know, receptive. So I'm glad that he understood that, because it's really a lot. So he won that case. People ain't here for it. They're really keeping an eye out. So it's like, oh, well, y'all gonna have to get over that, honey. Y'all gonna have to get over that. But anyway, I have been enjoying this show. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying my reviews of it. I have not given up on the 911 show either. Not the new one, not Lone Star. I have not given up on it. I do plan on continuing on with those reviews, so hopefully y'all will get into the show. To me, it is really good. It has like somewhat of a southern twang to it, and I'm here for it. And I'm from the South, so I'd be here for it. So hopefully y'all will get into it as well. I'm not gonna give up on it. I gave up on 911 the first time, and it started to really pick up, and I was like, well, I should have kept with that. But anyway, y'all have a good one. I have some things to do. I'll see y'all later on. Bye.